Victoria dropped something in my drink thinking I wasn't looking. I was 67 years old, 43 years married, built Brennan Construction from nothing into a $2.8 million empire, and my daughter-in-law just tried to poison me at my own retirement party. The blue-white capsule dissolved with a slight fizz. Digitox, probably. I'd seen the medical websites on her laptop 3 weeks ago. Quick, painless. Looks like a heart attack. She straightened up, smoothed her pearl-white dress, and smiled that calculated smile I'd grown to recognize over the past 6 months. The smile that said, "Poor old Eddie, so trusting, so naive." I picked up the glass, raised it toward her, and smiled right back, but I never took that sip. What happened next would destroy my family, and save my life. Let me tell you how we got here, because this didn't start tonight. This started the day Victoria decided I was too old to handle my own money. "Dad, you're 67. Maybe we should handle the finances."
That's what my son Tyler said 6 months ago. Standing in my living room with his wife beside him, her manicured hand on his shoulder like a puppeteer, Victoria nodded along. "Eddie, honey, you just don't understand modern finance. You're still thinking like it's 1987. 1987, the year I started Brennan Construction with a used pickup truck and a $500 loan from my brother. 40 years later, we employed 32 people and grossed $3.2 million annually. But sure, I didn't understand money. They started small, offering to help with bills, suggesting I was forgetting things. Tyler would visit twice a week, always with Victoria, always with that same concerned expression. "Dad, you signed this check twice," Tyler would say, holding up my business account statements. Except I hadn't. I kept meticulous records, always had.
But when I pointed to my ledger showing the single entry, Victoria would touch Tyler's arm and whisper just loud enough for me to hear. Memory issues run in families. The checks started disappearing from my desk. Small amounts first, $340 here, $225 there, always with my signature. Always for household expenses I'd never approved. I installed a camera in my home office on April 15th. Hidden behind my Northwestern University diploma, the one my granddaughter Amanda earned with my tuition payments. Amazing what you can buy on Amazon for $89. The very next day, Victoria was in my office, alone, going through my files, copying bank statements, photographing my safe combination when she thought the numbers on my sticky note were facing away from the camera. I watched her forge my signature on a power of attorney document. Slow, careful strokes. She'd been practicing. By May, they were talking about selling the house.
"Dad, this place is too big for you," Tyler said during dinner at their place. Their $485,000 house in suburban Chicago that I'd helped them buy. Victoria served my favorite pot roast that night. Made a big show of how much she cared about my nutrition, my health, my well-being. "We found a nice assisted living place," she said, cutting my meat for me like I was a child. "Sunrise Manor. It's only $4,200 a month." $4,200 a month. That's $50,400 a year. In 10 years, that would drain a quarter of my savings. In 15 years, I'd be broke. But they'd already thought of that. "The life insurance will help," Victoria mentioned casually. "That $340,000 MetLife policy. We'll make sure it goes to good use." My life insurance. The policy I'd maintained for 23 years to protect my family's future. Victoria spoke about it like it was already hers. I excused myself to the bathroom and pulled out my phone. Started a voice memo at 8:47 p.m.
"We're just worried about you, Dad," Tyler was saying when I returned. "Living alone, handling all that money. What if something happens? What if something happens? Not if you get sick. Not if you need help. What if something happens?" Victoria leaned forward. "Tyler's right. You built something beautiful, Eddie. Let us protect it. Protect it." That's rich, coming from someone who'd forged my signature 17 times in 2 months. I'd counted them all on the recordings. But they didn't know about the cameras. They didn't know about Patricia Wells, my estate attorney, who'd been documenting every irregularity since March. They didn't know about Detective Ray Morrison, my friend from the construction union, who'd been quietly investigating their activities. Most importantly, they didn't know about the new will I'd signed on October 10th, the one that left everything to Amanda and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Victoria thought she was playing chess with a senile old man. She had no idea she was playing checkers with someone who'd been building strategies for 40 years.
"You know what?" I said, finishing my pot roast. "You're absolutely right. I should start letting you handle more things." Victoria's eyes lit up. Tyler looked relieved. "Really, Dad? You mean it?" "I mean it," I said. "In fact, why don't we make it official at my retirement party, October 15th? We'll celebrate my career, and we'll announce the new arrangements." Victoria practically glowed. "That's perfect, Eddie. Just perfect." She had no idea what she'd just agreed to, because October 15th wasn't just my retirement party. It was the night she'd finally reveal her true colors in front of 150 witnesses. The recording that changed everything happened on October 8th, 1 week before the party. I was in my home office reviewing the guest list for my retirement celebration. Victoria thought I was napping. That's what she told Tyler when he called at 2:30 p.m.
"He's sleeping again," she said, her voice carrying from the kitchen. "The confusion is getting worse." I pressed record on my phone and moved closer to the doorway. "No, Tyler, listen to me. We can't wait anymore. The old man is starting to ask questions about the accounts." The old man. Not your father. Not Eddie. The old man. "I know it seems fast," she continued, "but I've done the research. Digitox is perfect. Colorless, tasteless. Breaks down completely in the bloodstream within 6 hours. Natural causes. Heart failure. Very common in men his age." My blood went cold. She wasn't just talking about stealing my money anymore. She was planning my murder. "The dosage is critical," Victoria continued. 2 capsules dissolved in alcohol. The coroner won't even test for it unless there's reason to suspect foul play. And who's going to suspect anything? He's 67. He's been under stress with the retirement. He has a family history of heart disease. Family history of heart disease.
"My father lived to 89. My grandfather died at 92. The timing has to be perfect," she said. "At the party, surrounded by people. Someone will call 911, but it'll be too late. Very tragic. Very believable." Tyler's voice was harder to hear, but I caught fragments. "Are you sure?" And, "What about Amanda?" "Amanda gets her college fund," Victoria replied. "We're not monsters, Tyler, but the rest? The business, the house, the investments? That's our future. That's Jacob's future." Jacob, their 3-year-old son, my grandson. She was planning to murder me to secure his inheritance. "I've already contacted Meridian Development," Victoria continued. "They'll buy Brennan Construction for $1.8 million. Quick sale, cash transaction. We can close within 30 days of the will reading. $1.8 million. Brennan Construction was worth at least $3 million. She was planning to sell my life's work at a 40% discount for convenience.
"The house should go for around $750,000 in this market," she said. "After we pay off the mortgage and settling costs, that's another $400,000 clear." My house. The house where I'd raised Tyler. Where Amanda had spent every Christmas morning for 22 years. Where I'd planned to live until I died naturally. Plus the life insurance, plus his savings and investments, we're looking at close to $3.2 million total, Victoria calculated. Enough to pay off our mortgage, set up Jacob's college fund, and still have plenty left over for that cabin in Wisconsin you wanted. Tyler said something I couldn't quite hear. "Don't get sentimental on me now," Victoria snapped. "Your father had a good life. He built something valuable. We're just inheriting it a little early. Inheriting it a little early. Like my death was a scheduled appointment that needed to be moved up for their convenience. The will is already in place," she continued. "I've been signing his name for months. The lawyer won't question anything. Patricia Wells thinks he's developing dementia anyway." That was a lie. Patricia Wells had been my attorney for 15 years. She knew me better than my own son did. "All we need to do is get through the party," Victoria said. "I'll handle the drink. You handle the aftermath. Call 911. Be the grieving son. Let the paramedics do their job. By this time next month, we'll be debt-free and planning our future." Their future. Built on my corpse. Tyler's voice again, unclear but worried. "Of course it'll work," Victoria said, irritation creeping into her tone. "I've researched everything. The drug, the dosage, the timeline. I've even practiced looking shocked and devastated. This isn't some spur-of-the-moment decision, Tyler. I've been planning this for months. Months. While she was cutting my meat and asking about my day and playing the caring daughter-in-law, she'd been planning my murder. The best part, Victoria continued, her voice taking on a gleeful edge, everyone will say how wonderful we were to him in his final months, how we tried to help him manage his finances, how we were the perfect family. Perfect family. The woman planning to poison me at my own retirement party thought we were the perfect family. Just remember your role, she said, shocked but not surprised. He's been declining for months. The stress of retirement, the confusion about money, the forgetfulness, it all adds up to a man whose heart couldn't handle the pressure anymore. She'd constructed my entire narrative, the confused old man, overwhelmed by modern life, slowly deteriorating until his weak heart finally gave out. It was brilliant in a sociopathic way. I have to go, Victoria said. I need to pick up Jacob from daycare. And Tyler, don't get cold feet on me. We've come too far to back out now. The call ended at 3:17 p.m. I'd recorded 23 minutes of pure evidence. 23 minutes of my daughter-in-law planning my murder for money. I sat in my office for another hour, listening to the recording 3 more times, making sure I'd heard everything correctly, making sure this wasn't some nightmare I'd wake up from. But it wasn't a nightmare. It was real. And now I had to decide what to do about it. I called Patricia Wells at 4:30 p.m. that same day. Eddie, is everything all right? Her voice was warm, concerned. Patricia had been handling my legal affairs since 2009. She knew my voice, my temperament, my capacity. The idea that she thought I had dementia was laughable. Patricia, I need to see you. Tomorrow morning. It's urgent. Of course. What's this about? I looked at my phone, at the 23-minute recording that could send my daughter-in-law to federal prison. I need to change my will, completely, and I need to file some criminal complaints. The next morning, I sat in Patricia's office with Detective Ray Morrison and a woman I'd never met before, FBI Special Agent Lisa Patterson, Financial Crimes Division. Eddie, Patricia said gently, what you're telling us is very serious. Murder conspiracy, elder abuse, inheritance fraud. Are you absolutely certain about this? I placed my phone on her desk and pressed play. Victoria's voice filled the room. Digitox is perfect, colorless, tasteless, breaks down completely in the bloodstream within 6 hours. Agent Patterson leaned forward. How long has this been going on? 6 months of financial manipulation, I said. But the murder planning? That's new. At least it's the first time I caught it on tape. Ray shook his head. Eddie, I've known you for 30 years. You're the most careful man I've ever met. If you say she's planning to kill you, I believe you. What do you want to do? Patricia asked. That was the question, wasn't it? What did I want to do? I could call Tyler right now, confront him with the evidence, watch him choose between his wife and his father. But Tyler was weak. He'd been weak since childhood. Victoria had spent 3 years molding him into her accomplice. He might warn her. I could have Victoria arrested immediately, but conspiracy charges were harder to prove without the actual attempt. A good lawyer could argue she was just fantasizing, venting frustration, not serious about following through. Or I could do something else entirely. I want to give her enough rope to hang herself, I said. Let her try to poison me at the party, record everything, have witnesses, make it impossible for her to deny. Agent Patterson frowned. Mr. Brennan, that's extremely dangerous. Even if you don't drink the poison, the attempt itself will be recorded, witnessed, and documented, I interrupted. We'll have you there, Ray will be there. A dozen other people who can testify to what they saw. Patricia was taking notes. We'll need a new will immediately, if something goes wrong. Everything goes to Amanda in St. Jude's Children's Hospital, I said. Tyler gets nothing as long as he's married to Victoria. If he divorces her and gets counseling, he can petition for reconsideration after 5 years. That's harsh, Ray said. He chose his side when he helped her forge my signature, I replied. He's my son and I love him, but love doesn't mean ignoring betrayal. Agent Patterson pulled out a legal pad. We'll need multiple recording devices. Video would be better than audio. The VFW hall has security cameras, I said. I've already confirmed with the manager. Plus, I'll have my phone recording in my jacket pocket. Witnesses? 150 guests. Construction workers, business associates, family friends, people who've known me for decades. When they see Victoria drop something in my drink, when they see me collapse, when they hear the evidence played back. She'll confess, Patricia finished. The shock, the public exposure, the impossible situation. People break under that kind of pressure. Exactly. Ray leaned back in his chair. It's risky, Eddie, but it's smart. She won't be expecting it. She thinks I'm a confused old man who doesn't understand modern finance, I said. She has no idea I've been documenting her crimes for 6 months. Agent Patterson closed her notebook. We'll need 48 hours to set everything up. Can you act normal until then? I've been acting normal for 6 months while watching my family plan my murder, I said. I can manage 2 more days. Patricia handed me a thick document. New will. Sign on pages 3, 7, and 12. I'll have it notarized and filed this afternoon. I signed my name carefully. The same signature Victoria had been forging for months, except this time it was real. One more thing, I said. I want to transfer $500,000 to St. Jude's immediately. Tonight, if possible. Why? Agent Patterson asked. Because when Victoria checks my accounts tomorrow, she'll panic. She'll think I'm giving away her inheritance. It'll push her to act faster, more carelessly. You're making her desperate, Ray said admiringly. Desperate people make mistakes. Exactly. I stood up and shook hands with each of them. Gentlemen, Patricia, I'll see you at my retirement party. The transfer went through at 11:47 p.m. that night. $500,000 from my savings account to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The largest single donation in my life. I didn't have to wait long for Victoria's reaction. Tyler called me at 7:23 a.m. the next morning, his voice tight with panic. Dad, we need to talk. Victoria's been trying to reach you. Good morning, son. What's the problem? The problem is you just gave away $500,000 without telling anyone. I was making coffee, moving slowly, deliberately, playing the part they expected. Oh, that. Yes, I made a donation to St. Jude S. Amanda suggested it. Amanda suggested you give away $500,000? Not the amount. But she mentioned how much good they do for children with cancer. I thought Jacob might benefit someday if... Well, you never know. Tyler was quiet for a moment. I could almost hear Victoria in the background, probably grabbing the phone. Dad, we're coming over. We need to discuss this. I'm about to head to the bank, Tyler. Some paperwork to finish before the party. What paperwork? Oh, just updating some beneficiaries, making sure everything's in order for retirement. Another pause. Longer this time. Dad, don't do anything else until we get there, okay? No more donations, no more paperwork, promise me. I promise I won't do anything rash, I said. Which was true. Nothing I was planning was rash. I'd been thinking about it for months. They arrived at 9:15 a.m. Victoria burst through my front door like she owned the place. Eddie, honey, we need to talk about this donation. Her voice was syrup sweet, but her eyes were sharp with calculation. $500,000 is a very large amount. It's my money, I said mildly. I can donate it if I want to. Of course you can, Tyler said quickly. We're just worried about your financial security. You've been forgetting things lately. Have I? Victoria sat down next to me on the couch, close enough that I could smell her perfume. Chanel No. 5. Expensive. Eddie, sweetie, you've been under a lot of stress with the retirement. Sometimes stress can affect our judgment, make us do things we wouldn't normally do. Like what? Like giving away $500,000 to charity instead of securing your family's future. Family's future. Rich, coming from someone planning to murder me in 3 days. I thought charity was good, I said. You always talk about teaching Jacob good values. Victoria's smile tightened. Of course charity is good, but charity starts at home, doesn't it? Does it? Tyler leaned forward. Dad, what Victoria's trying to say is that you have a responsibility to your family first, to us, to Jacob. I see. I stood up and walked to my desk. So if I were to say change my will to leave everything to St. Jude's instead of you, that would be wrong? The silence in the room was deafening. You changed your will? Victoria's voice had lost its sweetness. I'm thinking about it. Patricia Wells explained some very interesting tax advantages to charitable giving. Did you know that if I leave everything to charity, there's no estate tax at all? Victoria stood up abruptly. Eddie, you can't be serious. Why not? You just said charity was good, for other people. Victoria snapped, then caught herself. I mean, of course charity is wonderful, But your family should come first. Which family? The family that thinks I'm developing dementia? The family that wants to put me in assisted living? Or the family that's been forging my signature for 6 months? Tyler's face went white. Dad, what are you talking about? I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a manila folder. Bank statements, copies of forged checks, photos from my hidden camera. I'm talking about this, Tyler. 47 forged signatures, $89,000 in unauthorized withdrawals, and this. I held up the power of attorney document Victoria had been practicing. You've been busy, Victoria. She snatched the document from my hand. This is just a draft. We were going to discuss it with you. Were you going to discuss it before or after you had me declared incompetent? Tyler was staring at the bank statements.
Victoria, what is this? It's nothing, she said quickly. Your father is confused. I've been recording everything, I said calmly. Victoria froze. What? Everything. The forged signatures, the unauthorized withdrawals, the conversations about my supposed dementia. I pulled out my phone and opened the voice memo app. Would you like to hear the one from yesterday? The one where you discuss Digitox and heart failure and how much you'll make from selling my business? Victoria's face went from white to gray to green in about 10 seconds. You were listening to a private conversation. In my own house. Yes, I was. Tyler grabbed the phone from my hand. What conversation, Victoria? What is he talking about? For a moment I thought about letting him listen, watching his face as he heard his wife plan his father's murder. But I wasn't ready for that showdown yet. Not here. Not private. 3 days, I said, taking my phone back.
At the retirement party, in front of everyone who matters to me. That's when we'll play all the recordings. Victoria's hands were shaking. You can't. You wouldn't. Try me. Tyler looked between us. Dad, Victoria, someone needs to explain what's going on here. What's going on, I said, is that your wife has been stealing from me for months, and now she's panicking because I'm taking control of my own finances. I haven't stolen anything, Victoria protested. Those were legitimate expenses, household bills, care costs. Forged signatures are never legitimate, Victoria. She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. Her mind was racing. I could see her calculating, planning, trying to figure out how to salvage the situation. Fine, she said finally. Maybe I made some mistakes with the paperwork, but everything I did was for this family, to protect you. Protect me from what? From yourself? From making bad decisions? Like giving away $500,000 to charity. My money, my decision. Victoria's mask was slipping. The caring daughter-in-law was being replaced by someone much colder. We'll see about that, she said. They left, angry. I watched from my window as Victoria slammed the car door and started gesturing wildly at Tyler while he backed out of my driveway. 2 hours later, she was back. Alone this time. I answered the door with a smile. Victoria, forget something. We need to talk, really talk, without Tyler getting emotional. I let her in. This should be interesting. Eddie, I think there's been a misunderstanding. She was using her professional voice now, the one she'd perfected during her 3 years in pharmaceutical sales before marrying Tyler. About the bank accounts, about the signatures. What kind of misunderstanding? You gave me permission to handle some of your bills, remember? Back in March, when you had that appendix surgery? Clever. But not clever enough. Interesting date, I said. March 15th through March 22nd. I was in the hospital for a week. Exactly. And you were worried about missing payments, so you asked me to... Victoria. I interrupted her gently. I have the hospital records, discharge papers, medication schedules, even the nurse's notes about my cognitive state throughout the entire stay. Her smile faltered. Would you like to know what those records say about my mental capacity during that week? She didn't answer. Patient alert and oriented throughout stay. No signs of confusion or disorientation. Discussed complex discharge instructions in detail. Signed all paperwork without assistance. I walked to my desk and pulled out another folder. Here's the power of attorney you claim I signed on March 18th. Notice anything unusual about the signature? Victoria looked at the document. Her face was carefully neutral, but I could see the wheels turning. It looks like your normal signature. It does, doesn't it? Very steady hand. Confident strokes. Interesting. considering I was on morphine for pain management from March 16th through March 20th. I showed her the medication chart from my hospital stay. Morphine every 4 hours. Documented side effects include hand tremors, difficulty with fine motor control. Yet somehow, on March 18th, I signed this document with perfectly steady handwriting. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Maybe the medication affected you less than usual. Or maybe, I said softly, you forged my signature while I was unconscious. She stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to these accusations. No, you don't. But you'll listen to them on Friday night, in front of everyone who matters. You're bluffing. Am I? I opened my phone and scrolled to the recording from the day before. Let her see the file, the 23-minute timestamp, her name in the title. What do you think this is, Victoria?
Her eyes locked onto the screen. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked genuinely frightened. That's illegal, recording someone without their consent. Illinois is a one-party consent state. I can record any conversation I'm party to, even if the other person doesn't know. You weren't party to my phone call with Tyler. Wasn't I? In my own house, while you were discussing my murder? The word hung in the air between us. Murder. I'd said it out loud. Victoria's mouth opened, then closed. We never discussed. Digitox, Victoria. Colorless, tasteless. Breaks down in the bloodstream within 6 hours. Should I keep going? She sat back down heavily. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. You're wasting everything, the words burst out of her. This house, the business, all of it. You live like a poor man with millions in the bank, and that bothers you.
It bothers me that Jacob will inherit nothing because his grandfather is too stubborn to plan for the future. Jacob is 3 years old. I could live another 20 years. Exactly. 20 years of watching you give away money to random charities instead of securing your family's future. There it was, the real Victoria. Not the caring daughter-in-law, not the concerned family member. Just greed, wearing a mask of righteousness. So you decided to speed up the timeline. I decided to take control of a situation that was spiraling out of control. By murdering me. By making sure things worked out fairly for everyone. Even now she couldn't say it, couldn't admit what she was planning. I see. And this is your idea of fair? You've had a good life, Eddie. You built something valuable. Don't you want that value to go to your family instead of strangers? I do want it to go to my family, the family members who actually love me. What's that supposed to mean? It means Amanda gets everything. You and Tyler get nothing. Victoria's face went white. You can't do that. Watch me. Victoria's revenge campaign started that afternoon. The first post appeared on Facebook at 3:47 p.m. A photo of me from last Christmas, looking tired after a long day of gift opening with the family. Heartbroken watching Eddie struggle with aging. Memory issues getting worse. Pray for our family during this difficult time. #eldercare, #family struggles, #Alzheimer's awareness. Within an hour, there were 23 comments. Concerned friends, distant relatives, business associates, all offering sympathy and support. So sorry, Victoria. Alzheimer's is devastating. Your strength amazes me. Not everyone could handle this with such grace. Eddie is lucky to have you. Many families fall apart during situations like this. My phone started ringing at 4:30 p.m. Janet Murphy from the Construction Workers Union. Eddie, saw Victoria's post. How are you holding up? I'm fine, Janet. Better than I've been in months, actually. Really? Because Victoria made it sound like you're having serious problems with your memory. Did she? Janet was quiet for a moment. Eddie, you don't sound confused to me. You sound like the same sharp guy I've known for 20 years. That's because I am the same guy. Victoria's got her own reasons for spreading rumors about my mental health. What kind of reasons? The kind that involve my will and bank accounts. Another pause. Eddie, if you need help, I need people to know the truth. Can you do me a favor? Come to my retirement party Friday night. VFW Hall, 7 o'clock. There are some things people need to hear. By evening, Victoria had escalated to the family group chat. Tyler, myself, Victoria, Amanda, and my brother Michael. Dad's behavior is becoming concerning. Today he accused me of forging signatures and claimed he's been recording conversations. I think we need to consider professional help. Amanda responded immediately. What kind of professional help? Memory care evaluation. Maybe inpatient assessment. Dr. Rodriguez at Northwestern has experience with these situations. My brother Michael. Eddie's always been sharp as a tack. What makes you think he needs memory care? Victoria. The paranoia is getting worse. He's convinced everyone is plotting against him. Yesterday he donated $500,000 to charity without consulting anyone. Today he threatened to change his will and disinherit the family. Michael. Did you ask him why he donated the money? Tyler finally chimed in. Dad's been acting strange for months. Forgetting conversations, repeating himself, getting confused about finances. Amanda. Grandpa seemed fine when I visited last week. We talked about my law school applications for 2 hours. He remembered every detail about Northwestern's program, my grades, even which professors I should try to study with. Victoria. Amanda, sweetie, sometimes people with dementia have good days and bad days. What you saw was probably a good day. I'd been reading silently, letting them talk about me like I wasn't in the chat. Finally, I typed my response. Interesting conversation. I'll address all of these concerns at my retirement party Friday night. Everyone who's truly concerned about my mental health is welcome to attend and see for themselves. Victoria. Dad, nobody's questioning your mental health. We're just worried about some of your recent decisions. Me. My decision to donate money to children's cancer research? Victoria. Your decision to donate money without discussing it with family first. Me. It's my money, Victoria. I don't need permission from family to spend it. Victoria. Of course not. But large financial decisions like that? Well, they're usually signs of diminished judgment. Amanda. Grandpa, are you really planning to disinherit everyone? Me. I'm planning to leave my money to people who love me for who I am, not what I'm worth. Michael. That sounds reasonable to me. Victoria. Michael, with respect, you haven't seen the day-to-day changes, the confusion, the forgetfulness, the paranoid accusations. Me. What accusations, Victoria? No response for 10 minutes. Tyler. Dad, you accused Victoria of forging your signature. Me. Yes, I did, because she did. Victoria. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Paranoid delusions. Me. I have 47 examples of forged signatures, Victoria. Would you like me to post photos? Victoria. I think this conversation is getting out of hand. Dad, maybe we should talk privately. Me. We tried talking privately. You threatened to have me declared incompetent. Michael. What the hell is going on here? Amanda. Can everyone please calm down? Grandpa, can you call me tonight? I want to hear your side of this. Tyler. Amanda, don't encourage his paranoia. Amanda. Tyler, he's our grandfather, not a psychiatric patient. If he says Victoria forged his signature, maybe we should ask to see the evidence before dismissing him. Victoria. Amanda, please don't take sides in this. Your grandfather is going through a difficult time. Amanda. I'm not taking sides. I'm asking questions. That's what lawyers do. Victoria. You're not a lawyer yet. Amanda. No, but I'm smart enough to recognize gaslighting when I see it. The chat went silent after that. At 9:23 p.m., my phone rang. Amanda. Grandpa, what the hell is happening? Your step-grandmother is trying to steal my money and have me declared incompetent so she can control my estate. Do you have proof? Hours of it. Come to the party Friday night. You'll hear everything. I'll be there. Good. Bring a notebook. You're going to want to take notes. Thursday morning, I met with Agent Patterson and Detective Morrison at the FBI field office in downtown Chicago. We've verified the financial crimes, Agent Patterson said, spreading documents across the conference table. 47 instances of signature forgery over 6 months. $89,000 in unauthorized withdrawals. Attempted power of attorney fraud. That's federal wire fraud, elder abuse, and forgery charges. What about the murder conspiracy? I asked. That's where it gets complicated, Detective Morrison said. The recording is damning, but a good defense attorney could argue it was fantasy, venting frustration, not actual intent. Which is why we need the attempted poisoning, Agent Patterson added. If she actually tries to drug you tomorrow night with witnesses present, that's attempted murder. No room for interpretation. I nodded. What's the plan? Agent Patterson opened a briefcase. 3 recording devices. 1 in your jacket pocket, 1 clipped inside your shirt collar, 1 attached to your belt. All wireless, all transmitting to our surveillance van outside. Video surveillance? The VFW hall has 4 security cameras. We've already coordinated with management, Plus, Detective Morrison will be there as a guest with a body camera. Ray grinned. Haven't missed one of your parties yet, Eddie. Not about to start now. Who else knows about this? Just us, your attorney, and Amanda, Agent Patterson said. We briefed her yesterday. She's going to position herself near the beverage table with her phone ready to record. What about Tyler? Ray and Agent Patterson exchanged glances. We can't tell Tyler, Agent Patterson said. If he warns Victoria, even accidentally, the whole operation fails. He's going to watch his wife try to murder his father and not know it's coming. Eddie, Ray said gently, Tyler chose his side when he helped her forge your signature. He's been enabling this for months. I thought about Tyler as a little boy, how he used to help me on construction sites, wearing a tiny hard hat and carrying toy tools. How proud he was when I taught him to read blueprints. He's weak, I said finally. Not evil, just weak. Weak people can still be accomplices, Agent Patterson pointed out. She was right. Tyler had signed those forged documents. He'd supported Victoria's lies about my mental health. He'd helped isolate me from family and friends. What happens after we catch her? Immediate arrest. We'll have FBI agents positioned throughout the hall, dressed as guests. The moment she puts something in your drink, they move in. What if she doesn't do it? What if she gets cold feet? Ray laughed. Eddie, you've pushed her into a corner. You moved $500,000, threatened to change your will, exposed her forgeries. She's desperate. Desperate people don't get cold feet. They double down. Agent Patterson pulled out another folder. We've traced the Digitox purchase, bought online 3 weeks ago using a prepaid credit card, shipped to a P.O. box registered under a fake name. But the security footage from the post office shows Victoria picking up the package. So you have her buying the poison. We have her taking possession of a package containing poison. Combined with the recorded conversation about using Digitox to cause heart failure, it establishes clear premeditation. Detective Morrison leaned back in his chair. Eddie, I have to ask, are you sure you want to go through with this? It's not too late to just have her arrested now. On what charges? Conspiracy to commit a crime she hasn't attempted yet? Her lawyer would have her out on bail within hours. And then she'd disappear, Agent Patterson added. New identity, new location, we'd never find her. This way, we catch her in the act. Multiple witnesses, video evidence, audio recordings, no room for doubt. I thought about Victoria's Facebook posts, her family group chat messages, the systematic campaign to destroy my reputation and isolate me from people who cared about me. She's been planning this for months, I said, building a narrative where my death would seem inevitable, making people believe I was confused, paranoid, declining. Classic elder abuse pattern, Agent Patterson agreed. Isolate the victim, control their narrative, then strike when they're most vulnerable. Except I'm not vulnerable. I'm armed with evidence and surrounded by federal agents. Ray smiled. Like the old days on construction sites. Plan the work, work the plan. Speaking of planning, Agent Patterson said, we need to discuss your role tomorrow night. You cannot drink anything she gives you, not even a sip. I understand. If she drops something in your drink, you need to act surprised but not alarmed. Let her think her plan is working. Can you do that? I thought about 40 years of dealing with difficult clients, demanding deadlines and construction crises. I've been acting calm under pressure my whole life, I said. One more night won't kill me. Agent Patterson winced at my choice of words. Poor phrasing, I admitted, but you know what I mean. Friday evening, October 15th, 2024. The VFW hall filled up exactly as I'd hoped. 150 guests, construction workers, business associates, longtime friends, family members, even some clients from the early days who'd driven in from Wisconsin and Indiana. Victoria arrived at 7:30 p.m. wearing a black cocktail dress. Appropriate, considering she thought she was attending my last public appearance. Tyler looked nervous. He kept checking his phone, scanning the crowd, fidgeting with his tie. Victoria, on the other hand, seemed calm. Focused. Ready. Amanda positioned herself near the beverage table as planned. Detective Morrison stood near the back wall, his body camera recording everything. Agent Patterson and 2 other FBI agents were scattered throughout the crowd, dressed as retired construction workers. At 8:15 p.m., I took the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. 40 years ago, I started Brennan Construction with a pickup truck and a prayer Tonight I'm retiring with more friends than I ever deserved and more memories than I can count. Applause. Genuine warmth from people who'd known me for decades. Before we get to the good stories and embarrassing photos, I want to address some rumors that have been circulating about my health, my mental state, and my plans for the future. The room went quiet. Victoria's smile faltered slightly. Some of you may have heard that I'm developing memory problems, that I'm making poor financial decisions, that I'm becoming paranoid and confused. I looked directly at Victoria. I want to assure you that my memory is perfect, my judgment is sound, and my paranoia is completely justified. Nervous laughter from the crowd. Victoria's hand moved to her purse. In fact, my memory is so good that I can tell you exactly what certain family members have been planning for me. Would you like to hear? Tyler started moving toward the stage. Dad, maybe we should... Tyler, stay where you are. Everyone needs to hear this. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the hall's sound system. What you're about to hear is a recorded conversation between my daughter-in-law Victoria and my son Tyler, discussing the best way to murder me for my inheritance. The room erupted. Gasps, shocked voices, chairs scraping as people turned to stare at Victoria. This is ridiculous, Victoria called out. Eddie's having one of his episodes. Really? I pressed play. Victoria's voice filled the hall, clear and unmistakable. Digitox is perfect, colorless, tasteless. Breaks down completely in the bloodstream within 6 hours. Natural causes. Heart failure. The silence was deafening. 150 people listening to my daughter-in-law plan my murder. The dosage is critical. 2 capsules dissolved in alcohol. The coroner won't even test for it unless there's reason to suspect foul play. Someone in the crowd said, Jesus Christ, loud enough for everyone to hear. I let the recording play for another minute. Victoria describing the timeline, the cover story, the financial benefits of my death. That's enough, I said, pausing the audio. But there's more. 23 minutes of detailed planning. Should I continue? Victoria was backing toward the exit, but Agent Patterson stepped into her path. That recording is illegal, Victoria shouted. You can't use that. Illinois is a one-party consent state, I replied calmly. I can record any conversation I'm party to. You weren't part of that conversation, wasn't I, in my own home, while you discussed murdering the homeowner? Tyler was staring at his wife in horror. Victoria, tell me this isn't real. Tell me he's making this up. Tyler, don't listen to him. He's been having delusions for months. Delusions? I opened another folder. Like these forged signatures? 47 of them over 6 months? $89,000 in unauthorized withdrawals. I held up bank statements, blown up large enough for the front rows to see. Or this power of attorney document, supposedly signed while I was unconscious in the hospital. Amanda stepped forward with her phone recording. Grandpa, are you saying Victoria has been stealing from you? I'm saying Victoria has been systematically defrauding me for months while planning my murder. That's impossible, Tyler said weakly. Victoria wouldn't... She couldn't... Tyler, I said gently, your signature is on half these documents. You've been helping her. Tyler's face went white. He looked at Victoria, then at the documents, then back at Victoria. You told me he was getting confused. You said we were protecting him. We were protecting him, Victoria snapped. He's wasting money on random charities instead of securing his family's future. So you decided to secure it by murdering me? I asked. Victoria's composure finally cracked. You don't understand. You live like a poor man with millions in the bank. Jacob deserves better than watching his inheritance disappear to random strangers. The room was dead silent. Victoria had just confessed to attempted murder in front of 150 witnesses. Random strangers like children with cancer? I asked. Is that who you're referring to? Don't twist my words. I'm using your exact words, Victoria, from the recording. Should I play the part where you discuss selling my business for 40% below market value? I never said that. I pressed play again. Victoria's voice. I've already contacted Meridian Development. They'll buy Brennan Construction for $1.8 million. Quick sale, cash transaction. Victoria's eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape route. Every exit was blocked by FBI agents. This is entrapment, she screamed. You set me up. I documented your crimes, I corrected. There's a difference. Detective Morrison stepped forward. Victoria Brennan, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, elder abuse, wire fraud, and forgery. This is insane. Tyler, do something. Tyler was crying. Victoria, how could you? He's my father. He's a selfish old man who was going to waste everything we've worked for. We didn't work for anything, Tyler shouted. He worked for it. He built it. It's his money. Victoria turned on him with genuine fury. Don't you dare get righteous with me now. You signed those documents. You helped me access his accounts. You knew exactly what we were doing. Tyler looked around the room at 150 faces staring at him in disgust and disappointment. I thought we were helping him manage his finances. Did you think forging his signature was helping him manage his finances? I asked. Tyler had no answer. Agent Patterson was reading Victoria her rights while 2 other agents cuffed her hands behind her back. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Victoria looked at me with pure hatred. You think you've won? You think destroying your family makes you the hero of this story? I think protecting myself from murder makes me a survivor, I replied. And I think exposing thieves and attempted murderers makes me a responsible citizen. Tyler will never forgive you for this. I looked at my son, standing there in his rumpled suit, tears streaming down his face. Tyler is welcome to earn my forgiveness, I said, after he gets counseling and learns to take responsibility for his choices. The FBI led Victoria toward the exit. She was still screaming as they put her in the car. This isn't over. I'll appeal. I'll prove you're mentally incompetent. The car door slammed shut, cutting off her threats. Tyler approached the stage slowly. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know she was planning to... You knew she was forging my signature, Tyler. You knew she was stealing my money. You knew she was lying about my mental health. But murder? I never thought she would actually. What did you think she would do when the stealing and lying weren't enough? Tyler had no answer for that either. Amanda hugged me tight. Grandpa, are you okay? I'm better than okay, sweetheart. I'm free. The crowd was starting to disperse, people shaking their heads and murmuring to each other about what they'd just witnessed. Ray Morrison clapped me on the shoulder. Hell of a retirement party, Eddie. Hell of a way to start the next chapter, I agreed. 6 months later, I received a letter from the Federal Correctional Institution in Terre Haute, Indiana. Victoria had been sentenced to 4 years for elder abuse and fraud, plus another 3 years for attempted murder. 7 years total. She'd be eligible for parole in 5.5 years if she demonstrated good behavior. Her letter was brief. I hope you're satisfied. You destroyed a family to protect money you can't even take with you. I filed it with the other evidence and never responded. Tyler entered counseling in November 2024. Individual therapy twice a week, plus a support group for families affected by financial abuse. He moved out of the house he couldn't afford without Victoria's income and into a small apartment near Amanda's law school. We meet for coffee once a month. Awkward conversations about Jacob, about work, about everything except the elephant in the room. Tyler's slowly learning to take responsibility for his choices, but it's a long process. Jacob visits me every other Saturday. He's 4 now, old enough to help with simple construction projects in my garage. He doesn't understand why Mommy lives far away, but he's adaptable the way children are. Amanda graduated Northwestern Law School in May 2025 with a focus on elder law. She's working for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, prosecuting financial crimes against seniors. My donation to St. Jude's inspired her to add children's advocacy to her practice. Brennan Construction is thriving under new management. I promoted my foreman, Carlos Martinez, to president and gave him a 40% ownership stake. The company is doing $4. $2 million in annual revenue now, up 30% from my final year. I still live in the same house. Still drive the same pickup truck. Still eat at the same diner every Tuesday morning. But the locks have been changed. The will has been updated. And I've learned the difference between family and blood relations. Real family doesn't require theft to show love. Real family doesn't need forgery to prove trust. Real family certainly doesn't plan murder to secure inheritance. At 78, I'm healthier, happier, and wealthier than I've ever been. Most importantly, I'm surrounded by people who love me for who I am, not what I'm worth. That's a retirement gift no amount of money can buy, and no amount of poison can steal.